Well, hey, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two Tutors Talking. I am your lovely host, Audrey Codner, and welcome to another great thing. I know a lot of people are coming into me, and guess what? Baltimore is nice and rainy, but the sunshine is slowly trying to peek in, just like how a lot of us are trying to figure out what's going on. Fourth quarter is finally here, and before you know it, it's time for the summer. So we are gracious to have back Miss Kristi to kind of help us out and to keep us updated on what she is doing. So Kristi, welcome again.
Hello. Good to see you, Audrey.
Yeah,
Thank you
same
so
here.
much for having me back.
Oh yes, it was so fun the first time. We had to do it again. Why not?
Of course.
So
Oh,
give us a little update of like how things are going since the last time you were here.
let's see. Things are going smoothly with a few, ups and downs like life happens,
Right.
but things are building up. Things are gearing up for summer
Good.
and things are going well. Today it's blue skies in Seattle,
A
believe it
little
or not.
jealous.
We're going to take it for just a moment.
Okay.
And that's probably all we'll get. But things are going great.
Great. So now things are, since we're getting more clients because, a lot of parents are like, hey, I know I have like a couple people I have to respond to later on today, but it just seems like a lot of people are just starting to kick in and say, you know what? My kid needs help. And there was a couple of things that we were talking about that we're really going to address because before you know it, it's time for the summer. And what
Yeah,
was that thing that we want to talk about today?
summer and
That summer
summer
slide.
slide.
Yes.
Because
And it's
did
not a
you?
dance move.
No, it is not. Not very many parents know about this, believe it or not, in a survey. But
Okay.
teachers end up having to take about the first month of school to reteach what they learned this past school year. So what
Yep.
they're learning now, it's not sticking through summer unless there's a targeted approach to keeping learning happening.
Yep. Because I know every time I was in the classroom, it was like, okay, let's talk about fractions one more time, or let's talk about slope one more time. So even though this is out there, and this is really nothing new, it's been out there for a long time. Teachers have evolved for years. Like, what are some of the things that parents can actually do to kind of help with the retention? Even if it's like 50%, that's better than nothing at all.
Right, because studies show that kids lose about 20% of reading. They lose about 27% of math over a
Mm.
summer break from where they were at now to where they're at in the fall.
Mhm.
So, the things that parents can do mostly are read, read, read. And do they care if they're graphic novels? No, they have words. Let your kids read, let them follow their passions, let them pick their books, let them find things that are interesting to them, and hold them accountable to that. That is one of the things that shows progress throughout summer learning. Some other things you can do is keep that hands on creativity going. That helps you follow instructions, keeps you in learning mode. Give them that Lego set that they have to follow all the instructions for. Give them a craft that they have to figure out from Pinterest. All those
Mhm.
hands on things that just keep us in the learning mindset. Another thing you can do is workbooks. Workbooks
Mm.
are like Khan Academy for math,
Mhm.
fantastic. Just pick what's at their grade level and just have them go through it, 20 minutes, 3 times a week. Call it good, but
Mhm.
keep them in the learning mindset. And even as adults, have you ever taken a vacation
Oh
and
yeah.
then you come back to work the next day?
Oh gosh.
It's horrible. And you took 5 days off, and we expect our kids to take 2 months and jump right back into following in a line, sitting in
Right.
recess or the lunch table and doing it all perfectly.
Yeah.
No,
Definitely
it
not.
doesn't even happen to us.
Definitely not. I mean, and that's the one thing that these are things that it doesn't matter the age group. So, like you said,
Right.
with the reading, you can have the graphic novels, you can have like any, because sometimes a lot of our kids have advanced reading. And then even with math, I know you can use Khan Academy. There's also Schoology. There's also for math, like IXL. They have a lot of those, and you can just simply look at those items and do some practice. And some of them, and most of them, will also give you explanation. Worst case scenario, you can always go on YouTube, type in a concept. If they're going into the ninth grade, especially, that's when people get nervous because does my child have the skill set to do what they need to do? They can basically go on YouTube, pull some items, and then look at the topics, and they can like easily do a search for maybe a couple worksheets here and there. If you don't like to do all that, you can get a tutor. I'm available. Shameless plug.
And students have a hard time going from elementary to middle school as well. Parents are really
Yes.
worried about that transition because they go from being in a classroom with just one teacher, a few little pullouts, and just like this happy little family to having to transfer classes through each period, having to write more, having to use resources and pull them into a text in order to write a paper. And it's just a whole new world for them. It's no longer what did I do for summer vacation? That might be the first week, but after that, it's a
Right.
totally different ballgame. And parents stress about that fifth, sixth grade transition as well.
Okay. So if you have somebody that if you want to buy books, yes, you can go to your local bookstore, Barnes and Noble. But what happens if they just really just can't really do like the $15, $20 for a book? Where else? What are some options that people can have?
Math Playground is awesome for math. It's all games. You set your kid at their grade level. You can search for topics. It is free. It does have a few ads, but they're not anything you have to worry about. Typically, I've never seen anything inappropriate in there. And it's a free game where they just play, decimal dash. And can I match the clock to the fraction puzzle or the clock to the picture to make a cute animal? Things like that the kids enjoy. For reading, readworks.org is something I just found. It has logins, it has short, high interest articles. If you log in as a teacher, you can find them for your kids and
Okay.
assign them. And it's free. They suggest a donation, but if you're totally strapped for cash, just do the free version. Get your
Right.
kids reading. Libraries are my fave
Hmm.
as well.
And
I
there's
like
all we have I'm not sure if this is all around, but I know in Maryland we have like this book place where people donate their older books, and there's it's basically free. If you want to make a donation, you can, and you can just hoard up on as many books as you want, because I know when I was a teacher, I was like, okay, and you find like one textbook and there's like a whole class set, you're like, and we're just packing it all in. And you're like, all of a sudden you can tell the teachers because we bring the bags, we bring our own bags, bring our own boxes. We know the drill, we know the drill.
Yeah. Sometimes around here, when you're walking through neighborhoods, they might have like little libraries
Oh
where you can take a
yes.
book. They're really kind of cool. Whenever I see them, I get excited
Mhm.
because love of reading and how far that goes. Sometimes they have kids' books, sometimes they have books for adults. Those are fun
Mhm.
too in your free time and your beach read.
Right? And then plus you're walking. You're getting yourself out there, you're walking your neighborhood, and all of a sudden you see one and you just take it up. Once you finish the book, you can return it and then see what else they
Exactly.
have. It's like a little self-discovery game.
Exactly. I love those.
Right? So now with all the summer slides, we're giving some options for parents. What are something that you're doing? Like, let's get with the coming attraction. Let me see what my thing is. There it is. So what do we
I love
have?
it. So we have summer's a great time to do creative writing
Okay.
and improving vocab and grammar through that as well. So I'm doing a lot of one-on-one lessons.
Okay.
They're my absolute favorite. I'm not doing groups this summer. Someday
Okay.
I want to do a book club, but not this
Ooh.
summer.
Okay.
But someday it's book club time. Someday soon, hopefully. But for now, one-on-ones, creative writing, one-on-ones. My passion is also reading. I am a writing tutor, but I love teaching the older grades, third through eighth, that
Okay.
comprehension piece and that
Okay.
fluency piece. And I can keep your kids accountable to doing their reading at home if you'd like to put that on me. Sometimes it's a little bit easier as a parent to have somebody else checking in about it than the
Hmm.
power struggle yourself.
Yes.
So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm also doing intensives. If your child is struggling, summer is a great time where you have 2 months. You can come in more frequently or for longer lessons. And by come in, I just mean log into Zoom or Koala Go.
Okay.
And that way you can catch up. Not only will you not slide, but you can catch up your grade level and come in at a better spot in the fall. So that's kind of the two things I'm doing, fun things and catch you up for fall.
Right. I mean, and that's where I hear, especially with the pandemic, I know I keep talking about it, but we're still recovering from it. Like we are
Mhm.
still recovering from the pandemic. Like we were already behind in a bit before the pandemic, but now it's all the further. So we're starting to see, especially for me, I'm starting to see a lot of the high schoolers that are struggling to put word problems together. I see a lot of my high schoolers that are trying to get into college that they have to write. I love when they're saying, Miss Audrey, can you edit this for me? I'm like, do you want to go to college? Because English is not my forte, but I will take a look at it. But then I would suggest someone else for them to kind of do the editing. But the struggle is real, and I'm starting to
Mhm.
see a lot of it, especially in the community college, like those first year ninth I don't want to say ninth graders, those first year college students, because of all the stuff that was going on, they're missing some pieces. But having that intensive now, we're not trying to take your kids summer. A lot of people will say, well, I want my child just to relax. I'm like, okay. But then they go into a situation, now the stress is elevated. Now they're just as confused. You thought you were fighting before. Now it's starting to get a little ugly. And we want to eliminate all that stressors by having these programs that is like set and designed for your child. So by having those intensive, now you got someone that's 1-to-1. So you don't have to worry about one against 42 students in the classroom and you're begging and pleading for attention. Same thing with math tutoring. So I think this is a great idea. I can't wait for the book club. I'm like excited about that one.
Me
I'll be
too.
like, tell me what the book is and let me see if I join up. But that really think that is something that is worth thinking of. And especially this is the time, if you're a parent that you haven't done anything, you're just like, okay, we just want to relax because we've been running around all year long. Just take a moment and to think, okay, what is your child doing this summer? If they're not doing anything, we're just taking what, an hour a
Mhm.
day, a half an hour a day. How long is the sessions, Christy?
I do anything from a half hour to an hour. A lot of mine lately have been 45s. It's a
Okay.
great thing for attention deficit disorder. Just
Okay.
pack it all in, keep it rushed, keep it quick, keep it to 45 minutes. It seems to be working out really well for some kids that I have.
Okay. Okay. So that's something to think about, parents. 45 minutes. That's all we're doing. We're not trying to torture them, you know? And roughly when are you going to be available? Like, what would your availability be for the summer? Because some tutors switch their stuff up.
Yeah, I'm going to be available most of the time mornings and Pacific time, but that's, midday in Eastern.
Right.
So, I have some kids from Baltimore right now and it works out great. It gets me done before dinner, gets them done right after school. Nobody has to stay up late. Wonderful. So, really helpful that everything is online these days. Parents
Yes.
don't have to drive. There's no stuck in traffic and you just log in, do your hour, you're done, and your kid learns. So anyway, I'm generally going to do mornings. Going to relax a bit this summer too because it's summer and summer
Definitely.
around here is beautiful. We put up with the rain in order to enjoy the summer. It's only a few months. We've got to enjoy it.
Right.
Afternoons are the best.
Well, if anything, this is how our next step is how we're going to reach Kristi, because you're just like, yes, this is what my child needs, especially with the writing. She mentioned that, especially the transition from like elementary to middle. I mentioned the middle to high school. No matter what, we always want to make sure that they're at that grade level or beyond. So why not just take a moment for them to get this information out? So if you have Facebook, you can definitely reach her on Facebook. I'll make sure I have every spelling. LinkedIn,
Yes,
okay, all of this. And then her website. Go to that, elementarywritingtutor.com. Get a little more information if you need to. And then this is probably like the quickest way to reach her. If
it
not,
is.
you also have the email as well if you want to go into it. So, if there is anything else, Kristi, thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it.
No problem, Audrey. This is always so much fun. I love chit chatting with you and talking about all things tutoring
Right?
and just how can we serve kids.
That's why we're here. I mean, we got into tutoring, we got into teaching one way, and now we're almost like rediscovering our love all over again.
Exactly. Definitely been true for me.
Same here. We could have another segment on that. Trust me. All
Oh,
right. Well,
yeah.
so for those that are watching, thank you so much. I have like a couple people, one on Facebook, the other one on YouTube. Okay, we're
Nice.
expanding. But if anything, thank you so much, guys, for taking the time and to watch YouTube, Two Tutors Talking. And if you are ever thinking of a need, you have a elementary writing tutor, you have a high school math tutor, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. And just to make any comments on Facebook, on YouTube, LinkedIn, any which way you can possible. So have an amazing day, and we'll talk with you soon. Take care.
Thank